everybody, how's it going? Another episode of the Indiginerd Project. Long day at the Indiginerd headquarters. I'm wearing my glasses, that's how you know I'm a little tired. So that's it, folks. I'm officially a gardener. I made my square foot garden on Saturday, and it's spent all day assembling my 4x4 foot garden based on the book Square Foot Gardening by Mel Bartholomew. Special thanks to my good friend Boke, who planted the idea in my brain, and now we wait for the seeds to sprout. Surprisingly, I have no blisters. It took me like an hour to screw the frame together because I don't have my own drill, and I'm far too not into talking to people to ask them to borrow their tools, like my neighbors who I don't even know them. I have one friendly neighbor, and I wasn't even going to ask him. I think a mature adult would probably ask to borrow tools. So anyway, I planted 16 different veggies and an herb, my favorite, basil, because I like food with basil in it. So now that I've done that, I consider myself an expert on square foot gardening. Thank you very much. The whole process is relatively painless. Took me about 7 hours getting the compost and the peat moss and the vermiculite soils and mixing them all together, and then making the frame, nailing wood together, screwing it together, depositing the seeds in the soil and watering it all. About 7 hours altogether, and that's not bad. A couple years ago, I spent several days putting in a lawn in my backyard to make the baby's mama happy, because we were going to have a little birthday celebration in the backyard, invite a bunch of people over when my daughter turned 1, which it was. It was green, and then like a month later, it all died, so that kind of sucked. The next challenge is learning how to compost without creating horrible smells to tick off these neighbors that I already don't really talk to, which is too bad, because creating horrible smells is something I'm really good at. So yeah, so that's a square foot garden. Meanwhile, I heard via Facebook about a program back up in the UP, that's the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for you non-Midwesterners, called the Decolonizing Diet Project. It's a study being conducted by the School of Native American Studies at Northern Michigan University. It challenges participants to commit to eating a certain percentage of native foods from that local region pre-1600. In other words, stuff we Ojibwe used to eat before we had fry bread and diabetes. So here I thought I was being a little badass with my square foot garden, and these guys just go and like put me to shame, so that's cool. Don't forget to acquire your shares of Facebook this week. Facebook's IPO offering is expected to raise upwards of $100 billion, or they will destroy the earth with a giant laser beam. I know, scary. I would get in on that action, but I'm going to hold off and wait for the Friendster IPO. I like that one. I like being different. My problem with Facebook is that it takes up a lot of time that I don't have a lot of time. My time is very precious right now. My time should have its own IPO. It's that precious right now. Who's offering? Who wants in on that? And besides, I am a snob that does real gardening, so I don't need to play Farmville by you with you wannabe gamers. As this is the Indiginerd Project, I should give you an update on that. I'll be going to the American Indian Science and Engineering Society Southern California Professional Chapter this Saturday at Cal Poly Pomona. Winds of Change, the publication for the American Indian Science and Engineering Society, interviewed me last week, so there'll be a little blurb on me coming up in that. Last year I wanted to perform at ACES's National Conference, and that didn't happen. So maybe now they'll want to have me come perform there. And which is cool, because the conference is in Alaska, and I've never been to Alaska, and I really want to go up there. So if anyone from ACES is watching this, please, please have me come in and perform. I'm cheap. I'm really cheap. So the Indiginerd Project is still moving forward. I still don't know exactly what it is. I know it's part documentary, but I know it's also going to be some other cool stuff. One thing I do know is I need a better camera. This camera that I'm using right now doesn't quite do broadcast quality footage. So doing a bit of research, a friend of mine pointed out to me this new camera that's coming out in July called the Blackmagic Cinema camera, which promises to provide nice broadcast quality footage. It has a built-in solid-state drive, which will allow for hours and hours of high-quality footage recording, and it's only expected to cost $3,000, which is an amazing price. This may be the camera that the Indiginerd Project needs. In the meantime, I also want to get a GoPro camera, which is only $200 bucks. This is one they use in a lot of sports videos, X Games, things like that. So I could make my own nerd cam and use it to record the day-to-day adventures of a class 4 nerd. Now, I'm not the kind of nerd that does full metal jousting, which is the most dangerous sport in the world, according to the TV show Full Metal Jousting. Let me edit that for you. Full Metal Jousting, the most dangerous sport at the Renaissance Fair, beating out the guy that juggles daggers. Woo, and that would be me. I like to juggle. So look forward to that. The nerd cam of me juggling stuff, playing board games, watering my square foot garden, raising my nerdling daughter, shooting these videos. Going to be doing a little run of shows in the Northwest coming up in June 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'll be at Warm Springs, Portland, and Toppenish, Washington, respectively, so come check those shows out. Check out our website, anotherindianuprising.com, for more information on that, or check out our Facebook page. Also, don't forget to like this puppy, and you can follow me on Twitter @NativeComedian if you want to do that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you later on this week. Thank you.